Hey guys, in this video I'm about to answer the most asked question on earth. What's the purpose of this life? Once I explain this to you, your mind is going to be blown and you will never have this question again. The purpose of life consists of three things: know, be, experience. Now you may ask this question, what do you mean know, be, experience? Is experience really the meaning of this life? Yes, but let's start with the first one. Know. So why is know the purpose of life? So anybody that has actively been living with God knows that God's first and most given reward is wisdom. God said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. God is really about knowing. Because think about it, guys. Once you know things, you actually get to know the truth. You would not struggle with anything again. It's all about knowledge. Once you know how to act, once you know what to do in a certain situation, you don't need anything else than that. All you guys need is knowledge. Entire YouTube is about knowledge, but there is a difference between knowing, you can learn so much, you can study so much, but understanding, that's when you actually can apply it within your life, and when it actually becomes wisdom that you can share to other people and explain it in a way that they might apply it in their lives too. So it's all about knowing in this life. So that's why it's so important, because by knowing you can do anything. So it's very important to know. Second part, be. So what does be mean? We must be. So being is not thinking about being, and rather being. So then it enables us to kind of experience life better, because think about it, if you're always in your mind, not actually being in the life, without thinking about being, you can't actually be experiencing. And I'm gonna get to the point why experience is the real purpose of this life. You must be, guys. You don't have anything to do in this life rather than being. So this is what life consists of. First of all, we know. So we know how to be, right? And then we be. So we be according to what we know. So it's kind of like we dedicate time for knowing, and then we dedicate time for being. The reason we dedicate time for knowing and for being is for the experience. We must experience. This is the third part, the most important part, and the part I'm going to speak about the most. There are a couple of reasons that the purpose of life is experience. So our souls are eternal. We never die, guys. Whether we go to hell, whether we go to heaven, it doesn't matter. Our soul will not perish. We will keep on living. So if we are eternal creatures, what's left to be the purpose of life? If we will keep on living, keep on living, keep on living. The only explanation, the only thing that makes sense, why did God create us on earth? What's the purpose of us being on earth? That God created us in here first, and then we will move on to the next world. And it's actually the same answer. It's experience. We kind of need to experience this life before we experience the next life. We have the experience of how it is to live without God's presence fully. And because of that, when we actually go to heaven, we will remember this experience, and heaven will be way greater to us rather than angels, for an example, that were born and raised in heaven. So us being on earth really changes our life of eternity. See what I mean? So this is the purpose of us being on earth, so that we might experience lesser things before we experience greater things. So yeah, guys, you've been searching for the answer maybe all your lives and you didn't find it. This is the purpose of life. Because we are eternal creatures, we will never die. There is only one thing that's left for us to do. It's to experience. But now I want to talk about how God actually comes in the picture, because the purpose of life is to experience. So you see us on earth, we seem physical, but the truth is we first are spiritual. So this is the purpose of life, to experience. So how do you actually experience this life? Because what does it mean? Like, what action should we take knowing that the purpose of life is to experience? Like, are we going to maximize experience, going ahead, sinning, doing whatever we want? No, because let me tell you this. Because if you practice sins, you're actually not going to have the life you think you will have. You're going to be lustful, you're going to fall into depression. God isn't a joker. So if you wish for the best experience, you must be righteous. And I think it's also written in the Bible. I think I read it in Psalms. So this is how you have the best experience in this life. You keep the commandments of Jesus, which I keep telling you guys, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Then Jesus' Spirit will come living inside of you. Then you will be righteous. Then God's Spirit, Holy Spirit, will come living inside of you. Then you will feel His presence. Guys, His presence is the best thing in this life. Trust me. Nothing you should desire more than the Holy Spirit. Think about it. Where do we get the best experience of this life? It's actually from God Himself. So you might think that, oh, you can live however you want, this will be a good experience, a great experience. No, guys, trust me. The Holy Spirit, God's presence, is the best experience in this entire life. And all I wish for is seconds that I can experience from His Spirit, His love, His peace, the joy He gives me. You see what I mean? That's why, knowing this is the purpose of life, I choose to dedicate my life to God. Because by keeping Jesus' commandments, Matthew 5, 6, and 7, or any commandments, like, if you are in the Quran, it's written that you should do certain commandments. Also, you should be doing that. You should receive the Holy Spirit after you do that for like 3 years. Same for the commandments of Moses, if you are Jewish. But the thing is, once you get the Holy Spirit, guys, you will know that this is the best experience. By doing your commandments in your religion, you'd be able to be living righteously with God. It's firstly doing the commandments, and then we can receive the best experience being in the presence of God, in this earth and in all eternity. Because, guys, I felt the love from God. It's so great, guys. It's literally so great. I can't help but like to tear up by thinking about it, guys. it's serious. God provided us a way to experience His presence once we die, that if we go to heaven, it's the best experience. All I want is to be with God. All I wish for, knowing God, is to be in His presence. It's the truth. It's the best experience in this entire world. It's the best thing. Knowing now you have the answer, what's the purpose of life. Don't think that you can be living however you want and still make it into heaven, guys. You must be right, like you must be pure, perfect. Even in out-of-body experiences, in testimonies, they keep saying that God's presence is the greatest thing. Also, in hell testimonies, they keep saying that the lack of God's presence is the worst thing in hell. Think about it.
My eyes. I said, my mom, my dad, my brothers, I'll never see them again. And you think you know what eternity feels like mentally? No. I felt it. I felt what eternity. I knew I was separated from God. I knew I must have died in my brain aneurysm or something in my cell. I knew I was in hell, and I knew I would never, ever, ever get another chance.